The Portman Group, as Jeremy said, is the self-regulatory body for the alcohol industry. We have just launched our new 6th edition of the Code of Practice, which has been updated following a consultation with the industry. Well, our job is to cover the names of drinks, the way they're packaged, and the way they're promoted. So really that's anything that's tangible. So it's the labels on your drinks, it's the actual bottles or cans or cartons, and then it's the tent cards or the promotional posters that you've got in the on-trade, as well as maybe some stands at the end of aisles in supermarkets that you own, but particular appeal to under 18s. Before I go on, what do you think? I'm really intrigued to know what, when you see this, does this have this particular appeal to kids, or does it have a broad appeal to adults as well?
It's subjective in my opinion.
Yeah, you've raised the sort of the magic word, and I think that's something I'd really love to better get across, is that the interpretation of the rules is of course subjective. It is a series of rules that we have written down, but of course we have a panel of people who all have different opinions. But it was the combination of elements that the panel really considered for a significant time. For them, the bear was prominent. It was in a hoodie. I mean, hoodies aren't just the preserve of kids, but they're part of children's culture. So the fact that you've got a cartoon bear, but an anthropomorphized cartoon bear who's now wearing the sort of clothes that an adult would, that would make it particularly appealing to kids. The graffiti can, they thought the kids would think that was quite cool. And then the fact that, like you said, primary colours have been used as well. This is absolutely out of the language of children's cartoons and children's books. So the combination of all of those elements together made this problematic for the panel, so they upheld the complaint.
So I can see how it appeals to kids, but I can definitely see how it appeals to kind of edgy craft.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the nub of it. There's always an element that appeals to adults, but there can be an element that appeals to children as well. So where the panel draws their line, very difficult. On particular appeal to kids, as you said, again, like teddy bears, unicorns got a very strong appeal to children. I've got a 4-year-old, pretty much everything she has got unicorns or llamas or fairies. I mean, they're the real kind of buzz images at the moment. So unicorns, of course, very appealing to children. The style of the cartoon, really important, because this is a unicorn illustrated in a way that children respond to, because it's got thick black lines around the outside. And exactly like you mentioned, the uneven typeface is a bit like Comic Sans, so it's something that they've seen in their culture. If you can only access the promotion or the product in the on-trade, that's going to go a long way to stopping under 18s consuming it. If it's sold, of course, in retailers, then that's going to be particularly problematic, because of course then you can bring it home, you can have it in your kitchen, you can have it in your fridge, kids then can access it. But I'd say as a principle, because it's sold in a bar, I wouldn't say that gives people carte blanche then to make things really appealing to children, because I think we apply the spirit of the code as much as anything else, because of course it's the principle of what we're doing. So our code still applies to anything that's 0.5% and above. But what it doesn't do now, it no longer applies to anything below 0.5%. So any non-alcoholic or very, very, very low alcohol drink does not come within the remit of our code. So it means that something like Carlsberg Zero has liberty to do as they wish outside our code. But we are saying to people, still be cautious. Just because a drink is zero, we wouldn't say that is then carte blanche to then start selling it to children, or putting Peppa Pig on it, or cartoons, or anything like that. Because again, it's that sense of the spirit of the code, and a sense that we as an industry don't want to have that open goal for our critics to say that we are encouraging children into drinking.
Rita Ora, she has 13-point-something million followers. At least half of those are people under the age of 18. The people that listen to her music, what, we're saying 14 to sort of 21-ish, maybe a bit older, is concerning. And I just feel that, for me, I'd love to appeal to brands and say, please, please consider heavily your endorsements by celebrities or your affiliation with those that have that appeal.
And we work with one which is heavily featured in rap songs, in grime songs. It's not actually the brand pushing it.
Pushing it, yeah.
What responsibility does the brand have?
You can't help it as a brand then, can you? If you as a brand are working with influencers and you are not spot checking them to make sure that they are endorsing products correctly, legally, and saying it's an advert, we will come after the brand just as much as the influencer.